What's up, everyone? Welcome to the show premiere of Courtside with Shivam and Mailee. I'm your host, Shivam Patel, coming to you live from San Antonio, Texas. And my co-host, Mailee Jones, coming to you live from Vietnam. And I cannot tell you how long we've been waiting for this. The show premiere is finally here. We're going to be talking about all things basketball, from men's and women's college basketball to the G League Select Team, and also the VBA. Mailee, welcome.
Thank you, Shivam. This is so awesome being in Vietnam, finally out of quarantine and having some fun. You guys, we're also going to be discussing lifestyle and culture, which is going to be one of my favorite topics we're going to talk about. We're going to be including fashion, sneakers, food from all over the world, cultures, different traditions, traveling. And Shivam, you've been all over the world. I've been all over the Atlas. We've been everywhere. So we definitely have some experience, definitely some embarrassing stories. So you guys in the comments, if you have any stories to say about traveling, please let us know. Definitely not near as embarrassing as mine. So please don't feel bad at all. And we'll also discussing my most exciting part, inspiring stories, definitely for women in the sports industry. That's going to be really good once we dig into that. So Shivam, are you ready?
I'm ready. I've been waiting for this. Like I said, it's finally here. Let's get started. And before we start, actually, those of you in the audience, please interact with us on the live chat. Feel free to DM us on Instagram, Twitter. You know, we love the interaction and the engagement. So be sure to hit us up. We would love that. But Mailee, let's first get started with talking about men's and women's college basketball. And I'm personally stoked that the season is here because last year, of course, we didn't have the NCAA tournament with good reasons due to coronavirus, but that is the most exciting time of the year. And the season has tipped off on both the men's and women's side. And Mailee, let's start with the women's side first. The college. So, Mailee, what is your initial thoughts about the rankings on the women's side?
I mean, it's really good that South Carolina came out on top at number one. Really, congratulations to Coach Don. That's really a huge compliment. But then again, I really look at it's preseason. Preseason is just kind of a guess to see who's going to get here, who's going to be there. And then also it's hype, get everybody involved. And, shout out to the families who have been hit with the coronavirus. My love goes out to you guys. And I know season in sports has kind of had to take a step down, but here we are with the basketball season, and South Carolina coming up as one. That means you have a big target on your back. Stanford at number two, I could really see that. I'm definitely a Stanford fan. UConn at number three. Whoa.
Yeah.
But again, we see, a lot of these top five-star recruits going to other schools to really better their program. And, with Coach Gino being so dominant for so many years, he has that target on his back, to where girls are really wanting to go after the program and, see if they can better themselves and make a name for themselves.
Right. And for me, my biggest takeaway from these rankings is South Carolina, Stanford, Baylor, and UConn are head and shoulders above everyone else. They should be in the Final Four, competing for a national championship. And just quickly about every team, South Carolina is returning very talented guards, Zia Cook and Henderson, excuse me. Stanford is bringing back a lot of skill, talent, and experience, which they should be very dangerous, and they're very deep. Baylor lost a lot of experience to the WNBA draft, but look for Quinn Agebo, the center, and Dee Richards, the guard, to really step up, for Baylor this season. And they're going to be the key to their success. And then UConn, they lost their top two scorers, but they're bringing in the number one recruiting class in the country, led by Paige Becker. So what's new with UConn? So I think those teams are head over shoulders above everybody else. And look for those teams to completely dominate women's college basketball.
Yeah, and I think Baylor, they're really going to be an experienced team. They have a lot of fifth-year transfers coming in, a lot of transfers from other schools coming in, from Division I, really top programs. So, looking at their roster, they really have a lot of experience. However, what I would really like to see this season is those transfers that they have coming in, they were the go-to players on their team. And so now that they transfer to a really dominant basketball program, how well can those players accept a little bit of a backseat? It's like in the NBA, you're getting $120 million for 3 years, but then you go to another team to really put a ring on your finger have a championship belt under your career, but you got to take that pay cut. But you do what's best for your career, you do what's best for your team, and that's very similar to the Baylor roster this year.
It is, and they're huge. Their roster, their front line, their back line. They have big guards, big centers. What are they feeding those girls down there in Waco, Mailee? Because they're always like completely dominate the rebounding edge. They're always bigger than everybody else they play.
Well, we both should know we're both from Texas. It's all the same, no matter what. The same, but like they say, everything's bigger in Texas.
Everything's bigger in Texas for sure.
If you go to anywhere in the States, everything's bigger in Texas. So for those who are watching the audience, if you come to Texas, you will definitely see a big difference because everything is bigger in Texas.
For sure. Yeah. Texas is a great state. Everything is bigger in Texas. Like you said, the football, basketball, we have everything here, but moving on to the men's rankings. And there's some surprises, at the top. Number one, Gonzaga. They've never been ranked, number one in their program history. Baylor's coming in at number 2. But Mailee, what about Iowa coming in at number 5 and Illinois coming in at number 8? 2 programs that have never been ranked that high. They actually have expectations and a target on their back, Mailee. So what do you think? What are your biggest takeaways from the men's rankings?
First and foremost, congratulations to Gonzaga coming in at number 1. We've definitely seen them ranked before preseason, but now I would like to see them finish that out for the entire season and get a ring. They do so well in the regular season, and somehow when they get to the Final Four or Elite 8, they sneeze, and that blows them out of the tournament completely. And we don't want to see that this year. I mean, nobody wants to see that, especially the Gonzaga fans. But congratulations to them. But now they really have to pursue that. And again, like I said, with the women's rankings, it's really about hype, getting everybody involved. And I know everybody's had a rough 2020 year, but really getting, those NCAA basketball fans involved, I think that's going to be huge. But the rankings, Baylor at number 2, I don't know what is going on there. But Iowa at number 5, I mean, kudos to them. Maybe there's some sort of formula that I don't know about, or maybe something, Shivam, you're a basketball analyst, you're not telling me about that maybe I completely missed. But it's good for them. Congratulations for them, especially never being ranked. But this is going to be awesome.
It is, for sure. And that's a lot of parity this season. There's not one dominant team out there. Well, I guess I should take that back. Watching the first week of the season, Gonzaga is head over heels above everybody else. They got everything, Mailee. Jalen Suggs, their freshman. They've never had a top 5 recruit in the country. He's awesome. He can just get to the basket. He has a nice jump shot. He's a great passer, fighting his teammates. Corey Kispert, who's their shooting guard. He's just wet, Mailee. Like, he can make so many shots from everywhere, get to the rim. Drew Timme is holding it down in the paint. He doesn't look fast, Mailee, but he has a wide range of moves and great footwork when he goes against players that are bigger than him. You're like, how did he get a shot over that 6'11" guy? But it's his footwork and getting to the free throw line. So I think Gonzaga, they're well coached, Mailee. And this is the year Gonzaga has to win the national championship and get far, because as Mailee said, they failed before and they've had some good players. But Mailee, what about 3 top 10 teams losing already in the regular season so far? Virginia lost to San Francisco. Kentucky lost yesterday to a very good Richmond team. I think that Villanova also lost to Virginia Tech. So there's going to be a lot of those upsets right now in college basketball, because right now the teams are still kind of getting their footing because there was not as much preseason practice as they're used to. Well,
when that last section you just mentioned, honestly, even the audience watching, there's no excuse for the lack of having access to a gym or being able to work out. And I know COVID in 2020 has put a lot of pressure on everybody and just really testing your mental state of mind, but there's still no excuse. Now, it does happen when you start a season that, maybe it's rough and you're just like, oh my gosh, today is just not my day. That happens. Any athlete at any sport, that just happened. So these upsets that are occurring in the NCAA basketball, especially on the men's side, I mean, it does happen, but there's no excuse. During COVID, that was your time to really work on your game. There was no excuse. That was your time to find out what is really your weakness and really try and perfect it to be a strength. I'm really not the one for excuses. I'm not. And if anybody knows me, I find a way no matter what. If I'm stranded on an island, I'm going to find my way back to the city, call a taxi, get on the next plane back home. And so with that being said, you know, there's no excuse for having not being able to have a proper off season or this or that. I mean, there's so many things you can do on the sidewalk, on the street, at home, on the stairs.
Play with you don't have access to a gym. Yeah,
exactly. There's definitely a lot of things that you can do to turn your weakness into a strength.
I think that's very well said, Mailee. And thank you, David, for tuning in and watching. He said, let's go. So I hope you're enjoying this conversation very much. And people continue to interact with us on the live chat and on Instagram and Twitter. Feel free to DM me and Mailee. We want to hear your thoughts, your comments, your feedback. And remember to like, share, and subscribe to the Patel Pick and Roll Sports YouTube channel. But Mailee, we got to move on to the top freshmen in men's and women's college basketball. And this time, let's start with the men's side. So, Mailee, who is a freshman that you got your eye on?
Mine is Cade Cunningham.
Okay.
Now, he is a freshman. So, he is a freshman. We get it. But the most important thing is he can play all those positions.
Wait, Mailee, you mean Jalen Green, right? Most exciting freshman?
Well, I'm going to get to that one in just a second.
Okay.
But Cade Cunningham, and you know, they're both freshmen. Yeah. But I have a little twist to it in how I'm going to analyze it. I'm really, if you guys watching, you really want to listen to this. Okay. But Cade Cunningham, you know, really, really good player. Definitely an exciting player to watch. One thing about him is he really understands angles on the court. Yeah. You know, that's really the biggest thing for me. Another thing is I would like to see his jump shot develop a little bit more. It looks real solid, but to be that unstoppable player, I would like to see him develop that a little bit more. But one thing that really stood out for me is every time he goes to the basket, he is going to dunk the ball. And a lot of people who are watching, you know, when you penetrate to the basket, if you go up soft and the ref doesn't call it and you're sitting down pouting, sucking your thumb and, you know, just debating with the ref why he didn't call a foul, I mean, that's not going to get you anywhere. But if you go up and you're trying to put somebody in their spot, watch this player. I mean, that's just what it is. Watch this player, because every time he's going to the basket, he's going up to posterize somebody. And that's one thing I really saw. And he's being aggressive at all times.
Yeah, no, he's definitely a great option, Mailee. He's the highest rated recruit Oklahoma State has ever had. And he's actually from Arlington, Texas, Mailee. So represent Texas. But no, he's a very talented player. I think he decided to go to Oklahoma State because his brother is an assistant coach there with the Cowboys. So wanted to keep that relationship going. But he's going to be a top 2 pick, top 1-2 pick, you know, in the NBA draft. But in my top freshman, Mailee, I gotta go with Greg Brown, hook 'em, University of Texas. He is amazing, Mailee. You're talking about hops. Oh my God, he can jump up, Mailee. He already caught a body the first game of the season. He's uber athletic, uber long. He has a 6'10" wingspan. He's great around the basket. He's aggressive, Mailee, and he's already starting to develop a jump shot, you know, mid-range jump shot. If he can do that consistently, watch out, because he's going to be really hard to stop. And I think he's on a UT team that has a lot of expectations this year, because they bring back their entire team last year, plus Greg Brown, who was a 5-star recruit, one of the most exciting freshmen in the country. So look for him to expand his skill set, put his imprint on this team, Mailee, and lead the Longhorns to a very, very long NCAA tournament run. And he's very raw, Mailee, but you can just see the talent, and he has a great work ethic and a great motor. He just has an all-around game.
Okay, Shivam, back on planet Earth, okay? I know you're a UT fan, and let me tell you, I'm Texas Forever. That was some Texas Forever analyst. And now, for those of you who don't know, Shivam is a very, very talented basketball analyst. Any fact you know about basketball, you got to ask Shivam. He could tell you all the stats from 1950 about basketball. Okay. Now he went to the University of Texas. For those who don't know, it's a really big school in Texas where we're both from. And so, but Shivam, you said he caught a body. I mean, he's supposed to. Look how tall he is. If he doesn't catch a body, I'm worried. You know what I'm saying?
But the first game of the season, Mailee, that's impressive. First game of your freshman year.
You're supposed to do that. You're supposed, being that tall, that athletic, you're supposed to do that. Okay, he did the first game. Can you do the second? Can you do the third?
Mailee,
so, rest of the season, can you do it?
We're going to be talking about how many bodies. He's going to catch so many bodies this year, Mailee, because he's just more athletic than everyone. And you can literally like glide in the air. He's like floating in the air because he's so athletic. Like, what can you say? And he's powerful, Mailee. He's going to live at the free throw line. And, he's going to be a one and done player also. Go ahead.
Yeah, one thing I did agree with you, what you said, is he's developing a mid-range game. And I think everybody, no matter how tall, you could be 4 feet tall, you can be 8 feet tall, to develop a mid-range game is really, really tough. And so, but that's one thing I can agree with. Most exciting freshman player to watch? I don't know.
Mailee, get your popcorn ready. This man's going to put on a show every game. You just have to watch the UT game just for his dunks.
You must be UT alumni. That's why you said Greg Brown. Is that right? Yeah,
I am UT alumni. Yep. I bleed the orange and white, Mailee.
Oh, goodness. I'm assuming how this season's going to go.
Well, let's see, Mailee. Hopefully, I'm hoping that they can actually have some success this season. Before, we've had a lot of one-and-done freshmen, but of course they underachieved, with Jared Allen, Mo Bamba, Miles Turner, all in the NBA, by the way. So, but let's just see what they can do this year, Mailee, because there's a lot of expectations. But moving on to the most exciting freshman in women's college basketball. And Mailee, who are you going to pick for this one?
I'm going to pick Paige Beckers. Now, the reason why, and I know she was number one recruit going to UConn, and, for UConn, that's pretty normal. But as of lately, it hasn't been that trendy. These top players that have been, getting all these, offers to go to these top schools and everything. They've been going to different schools, not UConn, the top team. But one thing that really stood out for me about Paige Beckers is her passing. Now, I'm a point guard, so I represent for all the point guards, all the 3, 5, 2 feet tall people that play basketball. Listen, her passing is right to the spot, which is definitely really difficult to accomplish. It's not to your hands. It's not way over here. It's not way over there. It's right to the spot. That's one thing that really stood out for me is Paige Beckers.
Yeah, and I want to also pick Paige Beckers as my most exciting freshman. Also, ladies and gentlemen, this is not going to happen very much. Me and Mailee agree on the topic. Man, it only took 15 minutes into the show, Mailee, but man, I had to pick Paige Beckers also because, like Mailee said, her passing ability, but more than just her passing ability, her scoring mentality. She can score on all 3 levels, Mailee. Getting to the basket, her mid-range game is ice. Her three-point shot is really nice. It looks very smooth, leaving her hand. She's just a scorer, Mailee. She's got that scorer's mentality. She came from a very good high school, and she's a great point guard. She's very calm under pressure. You can't speed her up. You can't rattle her. And she's literally the right person to be a point guard for Gino Auriemma. She's a prototypical point guard for a UConn team, Mailee. And she's very well accomplished. She won all these awards, of course, in high school, all the state championships, the 2019 USA Female Athlete of the Year. That's a huge feat. So look for her to come in and really contribute. She's getting a Sabrina Ionescu vibe for me, Mailee. I know that's big shoes to fill, but I think that she has a very, very high ceiling. And I think she's going to be an outstanding player for UConn this year.
Yeah. I also think, though, with Sabrina, Sabrina's a really good point guard, a tall, really good point guard. Yeah. But I think what Paige has over Sabrina is the mid-range game. Now, for those of you guys watching, you see a lot of players that can shoot threes. You see a lot of players that can go to the basket. But what you really don't see is that mid-range game. It definitely is a lost art. And so I think with Paige, that she has over Sabrina. Now, one concern, which is not really a big concern I see for Paige is, we both came from 6A schools, like we said earlier, everything's bigger in Texas. All those schools in Texas are big, so we're coming from 6A schools, and I feel like 6A schools to Division I basketball to transition is a little bit smoother, okay? Because, 6A, you have these girls starting 5, all going D1. You have starting 5 and 2 players coming off the bench, all going D1. And so she's coming from a 4A school. So I don't know how that transition is going to be for her. A little bit quicker pace. For those who don't know, 6A is really the top for public schools. And as it goes down, I wouldn't say it's less talented, but you come from more of a smaller city, smaller community. So that vast majority of talent won't quite be there. There's definitely going to be talent there, and I think Paige Becker's proved that. And I think because with her talent, and not to mention her passing, I think the transition is going to be a lot smoother for her. But I would just like to see how she transitions from a 4A school to Division I basketball, but not even that, to one of the top programs in history.
Right, the top program in history where you're expected to win championships. But I think her game, like Mailee said, translates. She has the necessary skills to be able to be a successful player on the Division I college basketball level. And Jeff, thank you very much for tuning in. Hook 'em. I know UT has not been as good as with basketball and football, but we're gonna get back up there. We're gonna get back on the top, Jeff. But thank you very much for tuning in. And Charlene, she says, "Tell him, Mailee, he's supposed to do that. If not, I'd be worried." So thank you again, Charlene, and everybody else for tuning in, and keep the audience comments coming. We love it. Me and Mailee really appreciate it. And so Mailee, moving on to the Wooden Award candidates for men's and women's college basketball. And let's start on the women's side. But for the Wooden Award, this is the top award given at the end of the year to the best player in men's and women's college basketball. So Mailee, who is your women Wooden Award candidate?
I'm going to go with Kiana Williams out of Stanford. She's so far had a great start to the season. And I think, for players who play Division I college basketball to have a good start, it's definitely going to get you into a good rhythm. Not saying that if you don't have a good start, your season's going to be terrible. That's definitely not the case. Please take it from experience, But there's times where players have a rough start and they finish real smoothly. There's times where they have a rough start and a rough ending. But, eventually they can find their way. And it happens to any athlete playing any sport. It's going to happen. But Kiana Williams, she can shoot the three. She can penetrate right or left. You can't force her one way or the other. You just have to stay in front of her. And one thing about Kiana, she is a really great defender, really quick, really fast, can stay in front of quick guards that can, have multiple talents on the offensive end. One thing I really would like to see from Kiana is her mid-range game pickup. When I saw her play in high school, she definitely had a little glimpse of it. But I know when you get to college, there's some different parts of your game that the coach wants you to pursue to better fit so you guys can win. And so that's definitely understandable, but she's a great player, and I think she can definitely win the Wooden Award.
I think she's an outstanding player. Ladies and gentlemen, Mailee is a former Division I college basketball player, so when she evaluates the player, she knows what she's talking about. She knows the traits and the tools that she needs to play at that level, because she's had a very successful, basketball career, and it's going to continue to be very successful, in the future. But I love this pick, Mailee. Kiana Williams, a veteran on the Stanford team. Because as I said earlier, they're bringing back a lot of talent and experience. So she's going to be a leader now as a senior, and look for her to really step up her game, because she's already been a great player for Stanford, and I think she can take her game to a whole nother level. But Mailee, on the men's side, for me, I'll start out first. Luka Garza, Mailee, from Iowa. He is going to win the Wooden Award this year, in my prediction, because he's had a great year last year. He struggled at the gate, but finished the last year really strong. Went to the NBA draft combine, got great feedback after his junior year, returning for his senior year. Iowa is number 5, the 15th ranked team in the country. And Mailee, he has it all. He's big, he's physical. He could really finish around the basket, draw a lot of fouls. He has great footwork. He's a great free throw shooter. He can play as a stretch big in a pick and pop. You have to respect his three-point and mid-range game, and look for him to be able to lead the Iowa Hawkeyes to their first Final Four and maybe national championship, Mailee, because he is hands down right now the best player in college basketball.
Shivam, you said Final Four, then a ring. You just want to get to the ring. And no matter what sport you play, you want to get to the trophy, you want to get to the medal, you want to get to the ring. Yes. Past the Final Four. Of course, you're supposed to make the Final Four. You what, 6'10"? Can shoot the three? Come on now, go straight to the.
His team around him has not been as strong his first 3 years, and he had to really.
So if he's that good, if he's win an award candidate material, put the team. Look, this is what I tell all the little kids I train. If you're so good, if you are such a good player and you think you've got it made, I want you to lay out a net on the court. I want you to put your team. I want you to put your family. I want you to put your entire community. Then put a string all around the edge of the net. tie it up, put it on your back, and go score. Put the team on your back if you're so good. You know,
yeah. I agree.
I don't like hearing all these excuses about, oh, well, my teammate does it. Oh, well, he doesn't do that. Oh, well, she doesn't do this. Okay, yeah, you're steady pointing the finger, and you got 3 pointing back at you. So then you got to reevaluate yourself. You got to look at yourself in the mirror. Okay, what can I do better? You know, and that goes back to me not accepting excuses. You got to find a way.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree, Mailee. And this year, the Big Ten is absolutely loaded. They're going to be the best conference in college basketball. So that's a feather in his cap with Illinois, Michigan State, Mailee. This is going to be crazy with Michigan. You know, the Big Ten is going to be very competitive. Every game is going to be crazy. I think Luka Garza this year has a real great chance to not only improve as a player and improve his draft stock, but also to get Iowa to a point in history where they've never been before, Mailee, deep in the NCAA tournament. And this is the year for the Iowa Hawkeyes. They have the team around him. They got the depth. They got the coaching. And they got the Wooden Award candidate. And usually when you get the best player in college basketball, Mailee, you go far. And he's a senior, Mailee. He's a veteran player. He's not a freshman or a sophomore. He's been in the program for 4 years now. So I think he's going to have a monster season. And he already has so far, by the way. He scored 41 points in his first game, ladies and gentlemen. I don't care who he's playing against, some D2 team. 41 points is hard to score in a college basketball game.
He didn't have 50. He played against a Division II team. He's supposed to have 50.
He didn't play the second half, Mailee. He didn't play the second half because they want to, it's only the first game of the season. So he didn't play the
so he should have had 40 in the first quarter and then 40 in the second quarter. Now, but Shivam, I want to hear your what is the word candidate for the women's side. I didn't get to hear that one. I want to hear who you have to say. You said Luka Garza.
Yeah. For the women's side, I got to go with Rain Howard from Kentucky, Mailee. She's been the best player in women's college basketball. She's just an amazing player. Coming back for her senior year. She's a great passer. She's a excellent defender. She really puts a lot of pressure, on the offense. Can really get into the grill of the deep on the offense. I think she has it all, Mailee. She can also score at all 3 levels. Her 3-point shot is really nice. Her mid-range is also a fire. And Mailee, she led her team last year in points, rebounds, and steals. So she does it all and has a great all-around game. Yeah,
it's a great point guard. Definitely a great pick. And one thing I really like about her game is her leadership. When she steps up on the court, the intensity, the energy of her team goes up automatically. And that's very tough to do as not only a point guard, but as a player. You definitely have to have some sort of talent that God has given you to do that, and it's definitely working on it, definitely having patience with the game of basketball. And I think that's what she shows on the court.
She does. She has a lot of patience, and she's also a great leader for her team. And her teammates really trust her. She really puts them in the right positions to be able to succeed. She has to score when she needs to, but also she's not afraid to get her teammates involved and still confidence in her teammates. And I think that's what I love about her. I think she has a chance to be a high impactful player, not only in college but in the WNBA, and lead Kentucky. To have a very successful season, Mailee, because there's expectations for the women's Kentucky basketball team.
Yeah, for sure.
And remember, everyone, to like, share, and subscribe to the Patel Pick and Roll Sports YouTube channel. Continue to hit us up in the comments. We love the engagement, Mailee. But now you can connect with us on the live chat. But moving on, Mailee, to the G League. So this year, so we're going to be talking about the G League Select team that was implemented, this year on the men's side. It's an opportunity for the top high school players to skip college and be able to train, with professionals. The head coach of that G League Select team is Brian Shaw, who had a very successful career with the Lakers, won a lot of championships with Kobe and Shaq. And it gives these guys an opportunity to be able to train like a pro, have that pro mindset to get ready for a career in the NBA or overseas.
Yeah. And with this G League Select team, and I'm not trying to sound feminism. I'm not trying to feminism all the way. But I would definitely like to see this program for the WNBA side. Sure. I know it's going to be a process. There's definitely a lot of marketing involved, business, executive decisions to be involved. So, definitely be patient with that. But I think this opportunity for the men's side is huge. Now, for those you don't know, I left school early. because I saw an opportunity to play at one of the highest levels in basketball, and I chose to take it. I definitely do school online, so education is still there. But having this opportunity for the men's side is huge. And now, all these young players have this opportunity to get paid, and not just, a couple thousand here and there. I mean, a legit solid salary.
Not too shabby.
Really, right. This is really huge. And for those men's basketball players all over the world, not just the United States, who really want to seek this opportunity, you really do want to work on your game, because these guys are serious. They're young, of course, they're young, but they're serious, they're determined, they don't goof. It's get down to business as soon as I step up on the court. So I'm actually really excited for this.
Me too. And these guys, like Mailee said, are very high-level basketball players. Jalen Green, the leader of this G League Select team, is projected to be the #1 pick next year. Jonathan Kuminga, who's also projected to be a top 5 pick. Deshaun Nix, who's also going to be a first-round pick. But Mailee, there's one guy that I want to highlight on this team, Kai Sotto, who's from the Philippines, representing Southeast Asia, and he's looking to be the first Filipino player to play in the NBA, Mailee. So, Mailee, I know you watch a lot of Kai Sotto, the last couple of years. So tell me about his game.
Well, for one, he's just down the street. Well, when I mean by down the street, I mean a good hour and 10-hour flight away from Vietnam. So this is really exciting way to represent Southeast Asia. Could possibly be projected to be the what am I trying to say? The first ever Filipino to be drafted to the NBA, and full Filipino. There's definitely some players like Jalen Green, definitely one of my favorite young players that left school or opted not to go pursue his college career, but go to the G League Ignite team and, really pursue his professional career. But Kai Sotto, standing 7'2", 7 foot, but still, really talented player. And not to mention he's young, and being coached under Brian Shaw definitely shows that he's going to get all that wealth of knowledge, right there at the Ignite team. And that's going to be huge for the Philippines. Now, I know I'm Vietnam all the way, but if there's a player that can represent Southeast Asia, I'm definitely there to support. So, Kai Sotto, if you're watching this, definitely good luck to you. Really hope that, we see you in the SEA Games. But you definitely have some business to take care of, but we're really excited to watch you.
Right, and Kai Sotto is a very intriguing prospect. He came to the U.S. in his senior year, was at an basketball academy in Atlanta, be able to harness his skills. And I think he has a great chance to be a very impactful player on this G League Select team. He's long, he's athletic, he can get a lot of rebounds. He's a physical player. He has great post moves. He's really improved his shooting, Mailee. And I think what better place to improve your shooting than the G League Select team, because they're going to allow him to get a lot of reps, spend hours in the gym practicing, because these guys, that's literally all they do is eat, live, and breathe basketball. They're in the gym 2 to 3 times a day, getting up shots, honing their skills, try to make them the best player, for the future. And Mailee, it's not only about basketball, but this G League Select team also allows them to prepare like a professional, how to eat right, how to sleep right, because all those things are very important into being a professional and being a successful player in the NBA. And Pat, thank you again for tuning in and for sharing your story and also advocating for women's sports as well as education. You rock. So thank you, Pat, very much.
Thank you. Yes. And this G League Select team is definitely going to be something to watch for those of you watching this show. Definitely look out for it. It's going to be exciting. If for those basketball players watching this, men's basketball players watching this, this is definitely a goal you can set for yourself to try and get to that caliber. If you're an international player, you feel you don't have access to travel to the United States, but you could definitely watch these games online and have that goal for a caliber talent. So that's really exciting.
It really is, and dream big, international prospects. They have 2 international prospects on the G League Select team. Principal Singh from India and Kai Sotto from the Philippines. So they're definitely looking to expand global. So dream big and work hard, and great things will happen. And Mailee, like you said, there definitely needs to be a women's G League Select team, because there's a lot of talented women's players out there that can really be prepared, for the WNBA and a career overseas. So there definitely needs to be a women's team, and I'm very confident that there is going to be.
Yeah.
So now, Mailee, moving on to the VBA and the Vietnam Basketball Association. And those of you, Mailee is in Vietnam right now. So Mailee, I'll let you take it away and tell us about the VBA playoffs.
So for those of you watching, especially those in the United States, VBA is Vietnam Basketball Association. So very similar to NBA, National Basketball Association in the US. It's a professional league here in Vietnam, and they just finished the playoffs. So now we're entering the finals, and I am so excited. So in the finals, we have Saigon Heat, which is located in Ho Chi Minh City, and we have Thang Long Warriors, which is located up north near Hanoi. So those of you who don't know, for those of you who don't know, Hanoi is the capital of Vietnam. And so I'm really excited for these two teams to kick it off on Wednesday. The finals is going to be amazing. I cannot wait to watch. And I know, Shivam, you're in the United States, but for those who are in the United States who are watching this, you can actually view the games on YouTube at Bong Ro TV YouTube channel. So it's really good to watch. I'm really excited. Definitely looking out for one of my favorite players, Vo Kim Bon. For those of you who know, Vo Kim Bon is my absolute favorite player in Vietnam. Now, for those of you who don't know, Vo Kim Bon is a really, really good shooter. I think he's the best shooter in Vietnam, arguably Southeast Asia. When he gets that ball, it's going up, and not to mention it's going in. Now, he did play the last game I went and saw earlier this week. It was the playoff game against Cantha Catfish, which was really an exciting game. But you could tell Vo Kim Bon was a little frustrated, and here we have the game.
I really love the atmosphere. The fan base, the support system that they have here. What Kevin and Connor's put together is amazing, and it's really exciting. And you see the VBA Vietnam basketball, you really see it growing.
I mean, honestly, I think this setup is just amazing, honestly. And then the fans here they just get so into it, and then that makes me want to get into it. But you know, they take pride in basketball and VBA, and they really show how much they love basketball. It's awesome.
Oh my gosh. So that, for those who don't know, that was a halftime report show that they asked my father and I to comment about the VBA because for those who don't know, coronavirus is, still hitting everybody all over the world, but they did a bubble situation. So they have a limited amount of audience, and how the setup is really, really nice. And so if you guys ever get a chance to watch that YouTube video, it's really good.
Yeah, it is. And those games look a lot of fun, Mailee. They get intense, and the crowd seems like they're really into it. Like you said, they're passionate fans.
Yes.
So talking about the finals matchup between the Saigon Heat and the Thang Long Warriors, a player that I know specifically on the Saigon Heat is Christian Juzang. Actually, so this finals series is going to be 5 games. It's going to be 2 heavyweights, going at it. Saigon Heat is looking to be back-to-back champions. The Thang Long Warriors last won the championship in 2017, so they're looking to repeat that and win again in 2020. But Mailee, Christian Juzang from the Saigon Heat, he's someone that I watch closely at Harvard. He played 4 years there in the U.S. He's an outstanding player. He's very quick, Mailee. He can really get to the basket. He has a nice jump shot. And he's a really good defender. So I think he's one of the players to watch out for in this playoff series. And he's probably one of the best players in the VBA.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, he's a very talented player. One thing I really respect about his game, he plays with a lot of passion and emotion. Every possession really means a lot to him. And here we have Justin Young for the Thang Long Warriors, a Vietnamese national team player as well. Really talented, tall guard. So that's going to be another good matchup. Christian Juzang and Justin Young going at it in the finals for a 5-game series. For those who can watch, please watch. It's going to be awesome.
Oh, I'm going to tune in for sure. And Mailee, who's your prediction? I know you are in Ho Chi Minh City, but who do you think between the Saigon Heat and the Thang Long Warriors?
I like the Thang Long Warriors too. I really do. But I'm going to have to go in my heart with Saigon Heat. And yes, I live in Saigon. So, maybe that's not a little fair. Maybe I'm a little biased. But Saigon Heat has my favorite player, Vo Kim Bon, best shooter in Vietnam, arguably Southeast.
Yeah.
Yes. And then shout out to Coach Kevin. I know grinding out every day for Vietnam basketball and, of course, the VBA and ABL. But this is going to be amazing. But I'm going to have to go with Saigon Heat.
Okay, and who do you got as the MVP of the finals, Mailee?
Okay, so, I would like to say Vo Kim Ban, but I'm going to say Vo Kim Ban. No,
okay.
Vo Kim Ban. And okay, if you guys think, okay, I'm being biased because he's a shooter, I'm a shooter, okay, yeah, maybe I'm a little biased, but if you guys watch him play, you'll see, okay, Mailee, you know a little bit what you're talking. He's a really good shooter. I think when he played against the Kanta Catfish, he was shot faking air. I was like, boy, shoot that ball. Don't shot fake in the air. You can shoot. Christian, pass it to you, shoot it. But it's definitely going to be, I think the MVP candidates are, it's very close because Christian Juzang is a really great player, outstanding player. But Vo Kim Ban is my favorite player. So I'm going to have to say Vo Kim Ban.
Nice selection. And David also agrees with you. He said, whoa, huge recommendation for Vo Kim Ban. So it looks like David's also going for Vo Kim Ban to win the MVP. And he probably picks the Saigon Heat also to win the championship. David, again, thank you for watching the show. And everybody connect with us on the live chat on Instagram and Twitter. And like, share, and subscribe to the Patel Pick and Roll Sports YouTube channel. Give us any feedback, interact with us. We love it. We love the audience engagement. But moving on to a new section in Courtside with Shivam and Mailee, the lifestyle and culture section. And in this section, we're going to be talking about all things food, sneakers, traveling, music. So Mailee, her favorite personally. So let's roll the clip in the lifestyle and culture section. So Mailee, what are we going to be talking about in this section, Mailee?
So first and foremost, this is going to be my favorite section, but we're going to be talking about transportation in Vietnam. So this is going to be really exciting. You guys are going to get a kick out of this. Here are definitely the things to enjoy in Vietnam. As you can see, scenic motorcycle rides. That is really, really fun.
Real quick, let's talk about going to the Vietnam tourism site. Some of the main things that make Vietnam really special are the incredible food, the warm, hardworking people, the diverse scenic destinations, the addictive coffee culture, and of course, lastly, the motorbikes, Mailee. So go ahead.
Yeah, so as you can see here on the video, most of the transportation is via motorbikes, because traffic can get really congested. It can get really bad, especially around rush hour. And there you see me in the yellow bike. So for those watching, I have some definitely embarrassing stories when I'm on my motorbike. And maybe if we have some time, I'll definitely say one. But it's really fun here with the motorbikes. Definitely be careful. No matter what, Vietnamese or foreigner, you definitely want to be careful on the motorbike. And I know if the Vietnamese are watching, they're like, yeah, this is like the norm to us. I know it is, it really is, but it's driving. Everybody has their way of how they do things, and you definitely want to be careful. That's definitely one of the tips for me. If you ever travel to Vietnam, please, please, please go on the motorbike. You're going to have so much fun. It is one of the I know this is not a word, but I'm gonna say it. It's one of the funnest things to do in the world. And I really enjoy it. That's how I get from, point A to point B is via motorbike. And you guys, I just bought a motorbike. I'm the owner of a motorbike. I do not rent the motorbike. So if you guys in the comments who are chatting with us, let me know a name I can give my motorbike. We have been through everything, like I like to say, as if it's a human, but we have been through everything. It's really fun. I definitely have some embarrassing stories. So, I'm going to keep it down just a little bit. It's a little embarrassing. And if you guys have stories, I can guarantee you it's not as embarrassing as mine.
Oh, please share. Yeah, please share all your stories you have in the motorbike. And I want to go to Vietnam for sure. And the motorbike's like one of the first things I'm going to do. It looks like a blast, Mailee. You can get ahead of the cars. It's an easy, fast, efficient way to get around.
Yes. And one thing you want to remember is here in Vietnam, you have to follow the rules that there aren't any rules. And I know it sounds a little weird, and when you say it in English, but when the light is green, you go. When the light is yellow, you go. When the light is red, you go. So there's one driving, And I'm like, oh, it's yellow. Let me like slow down because, you know, I have my driver's license for the US. So I'm like, oh, okay, let me slow down. So I slow down and then it turns red. And then there's this guy honking behind me. It's like, he's just like yelling at me in Vietnamese. I don't know what he said. And he's like honking. I'm like, buddy, it's red. It would make sense not to go, you know? And so that was the experience I had. But, you know, definitely be careful. And that's one of the, you know, rules that they have is that there's no rules. And of course, I think the biggest one is when you're driving on a highway or on a street, if you're on the motorbike, stay on the right side of the lane and the cars will be on the left side of the lane. And so that's one safety tip. You definitely don't want, if you have a really fast bike, okay, by all means, you know, that's your time to shine. But if you just have like a motor scooter, like I have my yellow one, you know, you definitely want to stay on the right side and, you know, be careful. And when you cross the street, you just cross the street like jaywalking for the American viewers, okay? But you want to go slow. You don't want to go too slow and you don't want to go too fast. You just want to go at a good pace. They are not going to hit you. I promise you, they are not going to hit you. They're not going to slam on their brakes. They're not going to hit you. They're just going to slowly just go around you, everything like that. So be safe no matter how you travel in the world. Definitely be safe at all times. But in Vietnam, traveling via motorbike is really fun.
It looked like a lot of fun, especially from that video, Mailee. And that's completely opposite. You know, in the U.S., like you said, you know, jaywalking, you can get a ticket here. The cars are not for you. They're like, what are you doing? You're in the middle of the road. Opposite of Vietnam. And especially, you know, going on red, Mailee, oh my God, that would trip me up.
I know. I was like, wait, I know I'm doing the right thing. But then, you know, as I got more into it and being in Vietnam, it was, you know, if you go on red, like you could go on red, but just be careful, you know. And then, like, you know, they have the numbers for the stoplight. You know, it's like, okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, and then it's gonna turn green. Yeah. Like if 4 seconds still on red, they're like taken off. I'm like, okay, that's something I have to get used to. You know, it'll be like 4 seconds, and I'm still there, and everybody's moving like past me. I'm like, okay, I gotta really.
Oh man, that's too funny, Mailee. And how long did it take you to kind of get used to riding the motorbike? Was it easy for you at first, or did you kind of have to get acclimated to it?
I did have to get acclimated to it. It didn't take me as long as I thought. So, and that helped because when I first moved here, I took a Grab everywhere, a Grab car. I didn't do the Grab motorbike. So Grab is like Uber in the States. We just call it Grab. Like I'm grabbing, it's spelled the same. But so, and when I was sitting in the car, I would always watch how they drive and how they get in front of cars. I'm like, oh my God, he's gonna hit him. And they don't hit you, you know? And it's just because everybody follows the same rules. If you have one person that follows like rules, what we do in the West, that is not going to work out.
Yeah, but exactly.
However you travel, please be safe. But I would say it took me about 2 days. You know, for the first day, I got my motorbike on Valentine's Day. So for the first day, there was like no traffic. Everybody was out with their spouse or their partner celebrating Valentine's Day. So I just drove around the neighborhood and then I just took off and I never looked back.
Nice.
So it's really fun. Definitely easy to adjust to, especially if you're used to driving a car, which, you know, when I come back from the US, back home to Vietnam, I have to, okay, I'm not driving a car, I'm driving a motorbike. And then when I go back to visit my family and I drive a car, I'm like, oh my God, I got to relearn how to do all of it. So
driving rules.
Adjustment.
It definitely is an adjustment. Like you know, Mailee said, all the driving, you know, rules are different, you know, from country to country, especially in the West and, you know, in Southeast Asia. But again, continue to interact with us. And if you have any embarrassing motorbike stories or any suggestions of the name for Mailee's motorbike, feel free to hit us up on Instagram and Twitter and on Facebook, of course. So feel free to please hit us up. You know, we definitely want to hear from you. And Tran, thank you again for watching. He said, "Let's go Saigon Heat, Mailee." So another Saigon Heat fan.
Yes, Saigon Heat. Saigon. I'm gonna get Saigon Heat in 3.
Okay, 3 games. All right. It's a best out of 5, Mailee, right?
Yeah. Yep, best out of 5.
So it's different here. So and like, share, and subscribe to the Patel Pick and Roll Sports YouTube channel. So now moving on to our next section, who's also a new section.
Yes.
Inspiring stories in sports. And in this section, we want to highlight successful women in the sports industry from all over the world. So cue the tape. So Mailee, who are we going to be talking about today?
So today we are going to be talking about Kim Ng, who is now the new general manager for the Miami Marlins. And, for those of you who don't know, for our Vietnam viewers, baseball is pretty huge in the U.S. and the Miami Marlins are owned by Derek Jeter. And they just hired general manager Kim Ng as an executive for the Miami Marlins baseball team. So this is really exciting. Definitely a big step in the sports industry for a woman to be on the executive staff. So I'm really excited about this. When the news first broke out, I was like, oh my gosh, like I almost shed a tear. Like I wasn't fake crying like I usually do. Like these coming out. So I'm definitely really excited for this. Now I'm a Miami Marlins fan. I mean, Shivam, I don't know if this is you, but when I watch baseball, I get really into it in the World Series. All the other games, I'm like, okay, what's going on? How does this work?
It's too long. It's 162 games, Mailee.
Yeah. When the World Series happens, I'm all in. So definitely, I'm from the beginning of the season to the end, Miami Marlins fan. Me.
Yep, same here. And major props to the Miami Marlins. What a progressive organization. And major congratulations to Kim Ng, not only blazing the trail, breaking the glass ceiling, but she's the first female general manager in baseball history and the first general manager of Asian descent. And what a journey she's had, Mailee. She's worked for the New York Yankees and Los Angeles Dodgers as the assistant GM, really learning, gaining a lot of experience. And also before she got promoted to the general manager of the Miami Marlins, she was an assistant vice president of baseball operations for the Miami Marlins. So she's had some pretty high up positions for many major teams. And it's well-deserved, Mailee. She's really worked hard, paved her way through a very competitive industry. And she's just making history, Mailee. And it's just amazing to see. And she's such an inspiring story. And that's why we wanted to highlight her in the section, Mailee.
Yes. And not only that, I mean, this breaks down, doors and barriers for the future females who, really have an interest in not only baseball, but in the sports industry. So I'm definitely excited about this. I know those of you know me, I'm a big feminist, and I'm really always looking for these stories about women who are, just breaking down the glass in a very professional way, not just coming in demanding the world, but in a very professional way. And for those who don't know, Kim Ng has been in the baseball industry for 30 years. And just in 30 years, she's had 3 rings and she just now to this point. So no matter what, I mean, it's a fight. It's a fight every day. Every day God gives you, every day you wake up, you have to fight for what you want in life. And I think this is definitely a great, stepping stone for females in the sports industry. And I'm really excited, not just for her, but for females all over the world who have this chance now that it's not impossible, that it's definitely something that can be accomplished in the sports industry.
Right. If you continue to work hard and dream big, like Kim Ng did, anything is possible. And, women are continuing to get into the sports industry. They're some of the smartest. They're very smart, very talented, so I'm very happy about that. In the NBA, Becky Hammond, is the first female assistant coach, and she really paved the way for Swin Cash, among others. So I'm looking for more people, for more women, especially to get into not only baseball, but, football and basketball, because they are well-deserved and they deserve to be, be able to let their talent shine, through.
Yeah. And, like you said, Becky Hammond, who has really, I think, paved the way for women in the sports industry to get on a coaching staff or on the executive staff. She really paved that way. And, if, down the line, we are going to highlight her as inspiring, women in the sports industry.
Stay tuned for that.
Yeah, definitely stay tuned for that, because she really set that stepping stone. I feel, in my opinion, she was the first one to really take off. So Kim Ng, following that in the executive staff is really amazing.
It really is. And if you have any suggestions to the audience for any, stories that we should highlight, please feel free to let us know. It can be, all around the world. There's a lot of talented women that we're going to be highlighting in all levels, the grassroots level, professional level, and the college level, and in a variety of sports, Mailee. So feel free to, let us know. We definitely want to share as many stories as possible, because there's a lot of talented women, out there, like Kim Ng, that are really are making the most of the opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah. So awesome. So, well, that's going to be the end of our first episode of Courtside with Shivam and Mailee. I know it went really fast. I hope everybody enjoyed watching. Thank you again, for tuning in. Remember to like, share, and subscribe on the Patel Pick and Roll Sports YouTube channel. Thank you. And also for our viewers on Mailee Jones' Facebook page and the Shooting for Success Facebook page. Thank you very much for watching, and we appreciate all the love and support.
Yes, thank you guys so much, and especially in the live chat. Thank you guys for being engaged in our show. We definitely want to hear from you guys more often. We like what Shiva and I said. We always want to have this show, and we want to hear what you guys have to say. Questions, comments, concerns. Please let us know. And also, if you guys have a name for my new yellow motorbike, please let me know. I now own a motorbike, which is such a great feeling. And so if you guys have any suggestions, please let us know. But thank you guys for tuning in. This has been awesome. And we'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Yeah, we'll see you in 2 weeks. And remember, you can watch all the episodes live at 9 p.m. Vietnam time, 8 a.m. Central Time in the U.S., or also on demand on our channels, Patel Pick and Roll Sports YouTube channel, Mailee Jones Facebook channel, and the Shooting for Success Facebook channel. And we'll see you in 2 weeks. And be sure to stay tuned for our upcoming promo of our next episode. And me and Mailee cannot wait to come back. And thank you again. And until then, see y'all next time. Peace out.
Never miss.
Never miss. Gonzaga Bulldogs are going to win the championship, Mailee. It's all about the Gonzaga Bulldogs. Let's